Liz rocks and stuff. This is episode 120 of What's in My Tumbler, and we are going to start off with Candy Coated Chaos. This is the green, pink, and yellow opal with some glass thrown in for some filler, and it is in final polish. So the first thing we are going to do today is rinse it off. And I will say, I think every now and then I get a little bit cocky about my tumbling abilities, and then I need a batch that's going to put me in my place, and this has done it. So first of all, there are some little broken off bits in here, which I see that and I go, uh-oh, something broke. And something did. So this batch did not turn out as well as I had hoped. I might retumble it at some point in the future. We will see. I don't know. We'll see how the Opal Quartz batch comes out. And maybe I'll just do another all opal batch and see what I can do with it. But did a burnishing cycle on this with some borax, and then rinsed it off again, and then we'll bring it inside and we will examine the damage. Now, I can't say for sure that the broken piece caused the results that I got. This is also a fairly soft rock. I think it's like a 5 or something. Not the softest that I've tumbled, but it's also not optimum for getting a good polish. So there was a rock in here that had some bits that broke off that can cause damage to your final polish, but also some of these are shiny in parts but not in other parts. I didn't necessarily see a lot of bruising. The yellow did seem a little bit bruised, but the other ones didn't seem terribly bruised. So I don't know. Maybe I'll retumble this in the future. Maybe I won't. Who knows? We'll see. But I'm going to show you the culprit first. So you can see there actually is a little, parts of this are shiny, parts of this are not. You can see that chunk taken out. This is the pink. It's got some sheen to it in places and some shine in others. I've had this with Jasper before too. And then the yellow actually doesn't look too terrible, but it doesn't look great either. And even the glass could have been better. So we can call this batch a fail. I might try and retumble it at some point. I don't know. But this is the little close-ups, so you can kind of see everything under an indirect light. And then my pictures, which show that it has some shine and some not. I don't know. Disappointed, but also shouldn't be. I should have known that this is how this was going to turn out, but I got a little bit hopeful last week, so, whatever. Let's move on to Opal Quartz. And this is the mix of opal and some quartz, which is a bad idea because they are not the same hardness, and so I know that this batch is not going to turn out great. But I kind of know that going in anyway. So we are going to do some little rinsey and get the, so this is currently in stage 1. So I'm sorting this to see what is ready for stage 2. And at some point I did realize that no matter what, I have enough finished ready rocks for stage 2 that I can do a stage 2 batch now in this. So what I'm going to do at some point right now is put the stage 2 ready rocks into the barrel. And so now I'm going to be sorting stage 2 rocks into the barrel, stage 1 needs more time, and stage 1 rocks into the cup. And I will say, looking at this, a lot, and I mean a lot, of my pink opal has some large cracks and holes that I'm not sure really where they came from. This was a solid rock that I cut up, and it didn't have that, so I don't know. This stuff just maybe is a lost cause, so we'll see. Anyway, I'm gonna come back in once the sorting is done. All right, sorting finished. We're going to put the stage 1 rocks off to the side, and now these are going to get a soap cycle. So we always want to wash between cycles if we can. So this is going to get a tablespoon of ivory soap, And then this is going to tumble for a few hours. I did this a little bit earlier in the day. So my cat and my dog are wrestling, and you might hear the dog bark a little bit because that's what she does. After the soap cycle, we're going to rinse this off. But anyway, I did this fairly early in the morning and then fairly late in the afternoon. So this actually tumbled a little bit longer than normally I would, but it's fine. The longer it tumbles, the better off you are. So now we're going to get everything put back into the barrel. I really am worried about the quartz. I think is going to be totally fine in this batch, but the opal I think is going to just get absolutely obliterated. As long as it doesn't break off, we should be okay. But I only did about 2 tablespoons of grit because this is the softer stuff. It's just not going through grit very much. So this is going off into stage 2. And now we're moving on to the Softy Bunch, which is chrysocolla and lepidolite. I am very hopeful that this batch can redeem me somehow with the soft rocks, but I am enjoying how this batch looks. I always kind of forget that it's a thing, and then I see it and I'm like, it's so pretty. So these are both about a 3.5, I think, in hardness. So these are very soft. I have no expectations that they are going to shine, but they are in stage 3. I'm putting them into stage 3.5, which is the 1000 grit. I only do that on my softer stuff. I don't normally do that for hard rocks, which I have not done many hard rocks recently. So maybe I need to get back to basics and start doing some agates. I got a bunch of agates I can do. So anyway, we are going to just inspect, make sure nothing's chipped or broken, and put all of the media back in there. Now, I wasn't happy with how full this was. It's okay, but I'm going to treat this kind of like I treat obsidian. So I am going to just go ahead and do a soap cycle, and then after the soap cycle, when I rinse it off, I'm going to add some more media to it and make sure that this barrel is really full, like over full, and just see if that helps. So soap cycle's done. It was really bright out in the afternoon. We're in that fall stage where it's cold in the morning and hot in the afternoon, which I like, but not great for filming. So get that all rinsed off and then put everything back in the barrel. And then you're going to see me add some more media just to make it fairly full. And I'm talking like 80 to 90% full. Like over full. You would never usually want to do that. Like 2/3 is usually the max you'd want to do. But with softer rocks, I find it works better if you overfill with media. You don't want to overfill with just rocks. You want to make sure that at least half of that is media to help cushion and make sure everything is tumbling the way it should. So I put in a tablespoon of borax, a tablespoon of the stage 3.5 grit, and now this is ready to go for another week. All right, now we're coming up on Shattered Dreams. This is the mixed obsidian that was polished and then dropped off of a table and broke. So these are all the broken pieces or pieces that just needed a little more time tumbling and didn't get it the first time that I'm just redoing. So we are going to give this a big good rinse. And this is currently in stage 2, going into stage 3. So again, do a quick inspection, mostly of just the big stuff. I want to make sure nothing is chipped or broken. Again, we saw what happens with the Candy Coated Chaos, that chipped and broken stuff does not help your final polish at all. So we're going to get all of that sorted out and put back into the barrel with all of the media. And you'll notice that this is as full as the chrysocolla or Softy Bunch is now. If you heard that snort, that was my dog. She's chewing on her bone. Nothing sighs like an animal that has everything provided for it, right? So I put this on. I wasn't happy with how that lid was fitting, so I was checking to see if there's anything kind of blocking it, shifted things around a little bit, put it back on. I just want to make sure everything seals completely the way it should. And then, so this is a soap cycle. Again, let it tumble for a few hours, come back out. We're going to dump that all out. Rinsey, rinsey. And then once everything's all rinsed off, we're just going to put it all back in the barrel. And I will say I am starting a new barrel this week, and I kind of debated for a while since I got my big box from Rock Shed finally. Shout out to them. They're amazing. That company is great. I have a big selection of things that I can start tumbling, so I wrestled a little bit with what I was going to tumble next. So hopefully you guys are excited about it. It's something I've never tumbled before, so I'm a bit excited. But anyway, so that was a tablespoon of borax and a tablespoon of stage 3 grit. Next up for this batch is going to be 3.5 before going into final polish. So we've got a couple more weeks before we see how this batch is turning out. And I might start a whole new set of obsidian to do my obsidian video with. I don't know. Haven't decided yet. But anyway, new barrel. So what are we going to do? We are going to tumble some iolite. Never tumbled this before. It's kind of, it looks like not much here, but when it's polished, it's kind of a purple color, I think. It's really interesting looking, but I know some people have said that they have tumbled this before and not had good luck with it. So I am hoping that the tumbling gods are with me and allow me to do a good job on this. I'm a little nervous about it, but I'm excited too. I think it could turn out really great, or it could turn out really terrible. Maybe we'll be doing another retumbling, but this is a 7. It should, in hardness, it should come out pretty good. So anyway, stage 1 for that. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and just hope to see you back next week.